Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Hot Bella experience. In today's video, I am going to be creating this beautiful berry Valentine's Day look using the Berries palette from Juvia's place. This palette is one of the 4 mini palettes that Juvia's Place released right around the holiday season in 2019. So this is the Berries palette, and this is a gorgeous palette. This is a 6-pan palette, and in this palette you get 4 matte shades and 2 shimmer shades. These are gorgeous, beautiful shades, and the formula of this shadow in these mini palettes is awesome. There was another brand that came out with some minis around the same time as Juvia's Place, and I decided to go with Juvia's Place instead of the other brand. For one, because Juvia's Place normally knocks it out of the park when it comes to getting a quality eyeshadow that's full of pigmentation at a reasonable cost. I definitely know that I'm going to get my money's worth out of these. I am also using my Tim2 Air for my complexion. You guys have heard me rave about airbrush complexion products. And for my mature skin, I still use traditional foundations. Don't get me wrong. I still love some of the traditional foundations that I have in my collection. But there is something about an airbrush complexion that I absolutely love. It wears so lightly, and it takes a lot less time for me to apply my complexion products using the air gun. Also, it's the most sanitary way of applying complexion products to the face that I can think of. There is no dirty brush that you have to deal with. There's no dirty sponge or anything like that. It's very sanitary, it's very light wearing, it's long wearing, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, I am using my Tim2 Air again in this video to do my complexion. So if you guys would like to see how I created this look, then keep watching. My face has been moisturized and primed. I used the Milk Hydro Grip Primer to prime my face, and I also used my P. Louise eyeshadow base to prep my eyelids. I am going to start off using my default brow bone highlight, and that is this highlighter from Becca. This is in the shade Rose Gold, and I'm going to use this as my brow bone highlight since the Juvia's Place Berries palette does not have a brow bone highlight that I want to use for this look. So I'm going to use my default highlight, and that is my highlighter from Becca. And for my transition shade, I'm going to use this color right here, and I'm going to use a fluffy brush, and I am going to apply this to my lid, and I'm building this color up to my desired level of intensity. And I think for this look, I am going to use my shadow shields. You guys have seen me use these shadow shields before. I use this when I want to get more of a precise edge here on my eye look. Most of the time I like that a little bit muted, but I think for this look today, I am going to use the shadow shield just so I can have a little bit more definition in the outer V, or where this eyeshadow is going to stop. So these come in really, really handy. Love these shadow shields. It just makes it really easy, like I said, for you to get that crisp cut in your eye look. So I normally just line this up with my bottom lash, and then I just gently place it right there like so. Some people, you may have seen them use tape to do this. I'm sure the tape would work just as good, but I like using the shadow shields because I want to make certain I'm not tugging too much on this area. My mature skin can only take so much tugging, so I use the shadow shield. All right, got those in place. So we are good to go. Let me just tidy up this transition shade once again. And now I'm going to use this shade right here, and I am going to put this in my crease area. And now I'm going to use this shade right here, and I'm going to put this on the outer V, and I'm going to keep it focused mainly on the outer V. I'm going to sweep it in just a little bit towards the center of my lid, but I won't be taking it all the way over. So this is where this shadow shield really comes in handy, because you can just tap this right up against that shadow shield, and it's going to give you that sharp, or it's going to start to create that winged type of eyeshadow look very effortlessly. So yeah. So I've done my little half cut crease type of situation that I always do. And now I'm going to go back into this shade right here. And I am going to use this to soften up the edges. I'm keeping this very low toward my lash line. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to come back and fix that a little bit later. Just going to get this onto these edges just to soften them up. And then we'll work on a little bit more detail afterwards. And then I'm going to go back to the brush that I used before, and I'm going to add a little bit more of the crease shade into this look now that I've got my half cut crease going on here, and that is this shade right here. So I'm going to go back to this shade, and I'm going to add a little bit more of this into this eye look as well, starting right up against this shadow shield and then just blending it inward, doing a little bit of that directional type blending. And now I'm going to use this shade right here. This is one of the shimmer shades in this Berries palette. And I'm going to start at the inner corner of my eye here and work this almost to where these darker shades are on my outer lid, but I'm going to leave just a little bit of space in there. And I'm using these shades dry. I'm not going to wet them for this look. These are performing really well dry, so you really don't have to wet these. And now I'm going to use this shade right here. And I'm going to use this shade right here in the area where this darker outer V and this inner shimmer that I just placed down on my lid, where these two come together. I'm going to use this shade just to try to marry these two colors together a little bit more on my lid. And I'm going to go back to this shade right here again. I don't want to lose this shade, so I am going to add a little bit more of this, just kind of dabbing it right here on this outer portion right here. Just kind of dabbing it on this outer area of my eye because I don't want to lose it. But still keeping it low towards the lash line. I'm also going to use my MAC 242, and I'm going to go back into this shade right here again, and I am going to just dab this along my lash line as if it were liner. I'm going to go back into this Berries palette once again. I'm going to go back to this shade right here, and I'm going to use this just to add a little bit more definition in the area where I have manipulated my crease line. I am now going to remove my shadow shields because I am going to apply my liner and my lashes. My liner and my lashes are done, and now I'm going to add my concealer. So I am going to be using the Pretty Vulgar concealer. This is in the shade The Middle Ground, and this came in one of my most recent BoxyCharm boxes. I'm really liking this concealer. And I'm going to set all of the areas where I have applied the concealer using this Pretty Vulgar translucent setting powder. And now I'm going to use the Tarte Clay Foundation Stick. This is in the shade Rich Honey, and I'm going to use this to do some cream contouring. And now it's time for my complexion, and I'm going to be using this Tim2 Air, and I'm going to use this airbrush gun to apply my foundation, my bronzer, my blush, and my highlighter. And now I'm going to add a little blush. And I'm adding a little bronzer. And I'm going to add a little highlight. And now it's time to smoke out my waterline, and I'm going to use this shade and this shade to do that. And I'm going to start with this shade. This is the darkest shade in this palette, so I'll use this towards the outer portion of my waterline, and then about halfway I will switch over to this color right here. And for my inner corner highlight, I'm going back to my default highlighter, and I'm going to use this highlighter from Becca. This is in the shade Rose Gold. I'm going to place this right here in this inner corner of my eye, just to add a little brightness in here. And for my lips, I'm going to be using two of the lipsticks that came from the Naked Cherry collection. One of these lipsticks is in the shade Cherry, and the other one is in the shade Juicy. So I'm going to use the darker shade. The darker shade is Cherry, and I am going to apply that all over my lips, and then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the Juicy just to plop right here in the center, just to give these lips a little bit more dimension. I'm not lining my lips. I'm just going to go in straight away with this cherry color from the Naked Cherry collection from Urban Decay. And this look is done. The Berries palette from Juvia's Place did not come to disappoint. This is a beautiful mini palette. The shades in this palette are high performance shades. And as we all know, Juvia is one of those brands that gives us this type of quality product at a reasonable price. Juvias is still in this game to win it, and I am so glad that I picked up these mini palettes. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.